an intergenerational elite with many priesthoods. I mean, Sumer had so many priesthoods dealing with the legal system and even real estate and subdivisions of real estate and wills, death duties and taxes and so on. Everything that bureaucracies do today. They simply change their clothing and they wear suits and ties today, or white coats like scientists. So the system is going down through the ages, always taking themselves to another place and destroying that which they left behind them. You're leaving it in such a way, leaving some low-level controllers there to make sure it's standardized. That way when you get a bigger empire over here, they can then lump this back into it again, the old one. So they create bigger and bigger empires, and this is part of the great work, as they call it, that they claim began in 4,500 BC, that the big idea, as Mr. George Bush Sr. called it, the big idea, the BB, to be or not to be, says Shakespeare, for those who know. So on we go down through the ages until they see their target in sight. And they told us it'd be the age, you see, of Aquarius. There's many reasons for Aquarius being Aquarius, but it's got it even in the New Testament, because Jesus was a sign of Pisces, the fish, fisherman of men. The first guys he recruits were fishermen. The philosopher king, of Pythagoras type of thing. And the early Christians used the fish symbol wherever they went as a sign of Christianity before they used the cross. And in fact, the cross was used for the inner sect, because there's always an exoteric for the public and a real meaning for the initiates. So the cross was always used as a symbol of the sun, but the fish, of course, was for the public, for the profane. So Aquarius has ruled for over 2,000 odd years, and now we're going into Aquarius. So in the New Testament, they have Jesus saying, go into town and you see a guy carrying a pitcher of water, which is Aquarius, of course, and you borrow his colt. And so they managed to even write it in there, you see, to give you the clue that this would be the time for the next coming, you see, of man, the new type. The age in Aquarius of peace and understanding. Well, peace is not peace as you know it. Peace comes when there's absence of consciousness and opposition to this agenda. That's what they mean by peace. And peace comes when there's not enough of you to cause a trouble, and those that are left don't have a functioning brain to use. That's peace. And hence the rush towards chips and chipping the brain and implants and stuff like that, and a totally controlled society. They want peace. They don't want to give us all this media nonsense, this constant propaganda to keep us running in circles and chewing the grass like good little sheep. And it's also it takes away from their profits, because they want pure profit. You see, they want 100% profit from us, and they got to allow us to entertain ourselves, to keep us obedient and grazing and sports and circuses and all that kind of thing. You see, and buying toys, junk from China, as rewards, little Pavlovian rewards at the end of the month, that's all taken from their ultimate profit, and that upsets them because it's not efficient enough. And the system that's coming into being is to be run on complete, utter efficiency, where a person will not be born unless they have a work for you to do. Unless you can sell your body parts as a fetus, mind you, as long as they get some profit from it, from an investment. And we're going down through a horror show down through the ages of watching people being oppressed, doing what they do naturally, which is to resist. So you have force, and for every force there's an equal and opposite reaction. And then of course then they control the conflict to bring out the conclusion, the synthesis of it all. And before you know it, we've just moved into where they want us to go. It's when we are the sheep, they are the good shepherds. Good shepherds pat the sheep, they know them by name. The sheep come up to them and like them, because sheep don't know what they're there for. They think they're there to be happy. Huh? They don't know. They don't even ask why does this shepherd spend so much time taking care of us and talking to us? And It's because the sheep don't know what they're there for. They don't know their function is to feed the shepherd, make a profit, and he's going to take the wool and fleece them. You see? That's a good shepherd. A bad shepherd sharpens his knives in front of the sheep and slaughters one. The rest of them are terrified. They run off when they see him. So the good shepherd wears a suit and tie and says, I promise to help you, whatever category you put yourself into, whichever pigeonhole, ready-made pigeonhole you put yourself. I'm left wing, I'm right wing, I'm up, I'm down, whatever. Well, it's theirs, it's their system. And they lead you to where they want you to go, which is the abattoir. But you're not supposed to know that till it happens. Poor things. You don't frighten the children. So you tell them what they call in Masonry the noble lie. And they give us noble lies all the time. Well, we can't tell the people the truth, poor things, they wouldn't understand. And so they've had debates down through the thousands of years on how many they needed for work. Of course, when they needed lots of labour, they bred them up and told them to procreate, go out and multiply, yada yada. And they did, and they slaved away quite willingly for their masters. And when there was too many of them, the elite would get together and say, well, let's have a war and kill some off, you know. And they do that too. And of course, since really the 1500s, when Rosicrucian, the Rosicrucian movement broke into the surface openly in England, that's when the real push was on for now a more expert-run society. And in the 1700s, it really took off with all the different writers amongst the interbred elite, like Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin's family only interbred with one other family for generations, and that was the Wedgwood family, the famous pottery Wedgwoods of England. And his grandfather married one, his father married one, Charles married one, and then when his wife died, he married his mother's sister, another Wedgwood. So they're all Wedgwoods and Darwins all mixed together, you see, until they could bring in some other outside blood, the Galtons, another sweet bunch who believed in population reduction. And so they ended up with, Charles did anyway, he had 10 children from his first wife, and 8 of them died in childbirth, and the other 2 died in insane asylums very young. 2 interbred, you see. But that's part of the program initiated by the elite through Rosicrucianism, when they had to build up a middle class to manage what was coming, an industrial era, and even a middle class of obedient middle class people who would in turn look down their noses at the people they just left, you know, the bottom of the heap. So the middle classes would become very snobbish. They'd have their own version of Masonry, not a noble order like the elite had, but they'd have a version which they didn't know there was anything else except the one they joined. They thought, this was it, I've made it. I'm climbing up the mountain. So this con game's going on and on.